Talking about elite guards, it makes me think of the amazing, amazing season that we are seeing unfold with the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry and the Warriors are just absolutely skyrocketing right now, Bogues. You know what I mean? They've gone from being out of the play-in to almost a fourth or fifth seed. What makes the Warriors program so special and unique, and how have they been able to manage getting to where they have at this point in the season?
The trade. I think I didn't see them being this good with that trade. I thought Jimmy, he's not a great 3-point shooter. He's kind of average, if not below average. Thought their spacing would be an issue, but he's been phenomenal for him. I think they're 19 and 2 or 20 and 2 since the trade or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I heard the Mike Dunleavy interview the day after the trade. They interviewed him during a game courtside, and they said they identified that they're a poor getting to the free throw line team, and that was an issue when we were there too.
Yes,
we were never a big free throw line team because we shot so many threes, right? And they identified that and said we need someone who can get to the line, and they bring Jimmy in. He's getting 10, 11 free throws a game since he's been there, right? So it just, when their offense sputters at times and they're not making three balls and whatnot, he can calm you down and just get you to the free throw line. And he's a great defender next to Draymond. You've got two absolute beasts that can guard wings and bigs, and I like it. They're a dangerous team. They're dangerous. I've got them and the Clippers are my two most dangerous teams in the West, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
All right.
Well, yeah, if the Clippers are healthy like they are now with Kawhi, I think they've got a chance to cause some upsets, and I think Golden State are the same. If you're a 1, 2, 3 seed, you don't want to see those two teams in your first round battle, right? You want to hope they fall down. They push up to like a 4, 5 seed so they can be in that middle bracket. But if you're a 1 or a 2, you don't want to see those two teams.
No, it's a scary team to go up against. And look, hey, you're a scary guy to go up against, Bogues. I'm not going against your judgment ever again. I think I'm going with you on Golden State, contending. I definitely think these guys will contend. But let's go back to, you touched on Draymond and bringing a guy like Jimmy in, another competitor. You know what I mean? Steph, a huge competitor. Draymond, obviously a huge competitor as well. What is it that these guys bring to a team, bring to practice, bring to games that you've experienced, Bogues, in Draymond and Steph, that you don't see in a lot of guys,
Yeah, just a passion and fire from like a Draymond and a Jimmy. They're going to fight. They're going to literally fight you, both physically, metaphorically. Like they're those guys, right? So you want that in the lull of an 82-game season. You're flat sometimes. You saw Draymond yesterday get ejected. That kind of stuff. Somewhat is strategic at times. Somewhat isn't. But sometimes he knows what he's doing, and sometimes he does lose his mind. But
yeah,
I think that's important going into a playoff series. You just got some toughness there. You got some toughness there. You got some guys that are going to fight. When the game tightens up in a playoff series, the referee swallowed their whistles a little bit. You'd rather have that end of things than the loose end of things. So they're in a good spot, and they got a good mix of scoring talent and physicality, and that's what you kind of need.
100%. Were there any stories from back in your day, Golden State, that you had, coming up against any of these guys, having a bit of a ruffle in practice or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, that was all. Draymond was, what you see is what you get with him. Whether it's at the poker table or whether it's on the basketball court, he was all intense, ready to fight you at any minute. So that's what makes him great, and that's what makes him such a great player. If you lost that fire or that oomph, he's a completely different person, completely different player. Like
100%. Yeah. And you got to manage these guys, and I think Steve Kerr does a great job at that. Let's touch on Steve a little bit. What makes Steve Kerr, you think, as a coach, such a special leader?
Yeah, I think Steve's been in every facet of basketball. He's been a GM. He's been under great coaches. He's done the commentary thing, and I think he's experienced all levels. He was generally a role player throughout most of his career, so he knows that end of things. I think he's really good with communicating and talking to guys. So oftentimes he'd come to you and say, "Hey, we're resting you tonight. You're not playing," or "Hey, we're going to start you off the bench tonight." Just communicating it so you don't hear it for the first time in a team meeting. There's nothing worse as a player than hearing something that's changing your role or what you're doing, and hearing it in a team meeting for the first time before a game. You're like what's going on here? He's really good at approaching that the day before, having an eye-to-eye, man-to-man chat with you. This is what we're thinking, and then we go on with it. And I think you got to respect that. And the biggest part, I think, NBA coaching and coaching in general these days is just communication. If you have a communication with your players where they can trust you and have an open, honest conversation, and you can kind of give your pros and cons of why you made a decision and maybe have a little debate about it, no problem. I think that's what players really respect, and that's kind of how you build that bond and relationship, and he's done a phenomenal job of that.
Yeah, 100%. And I can see, I think in a lot of guys like yourself, Bogues, that have had such an accomplished career and played under so many coaches and with so many different guys, now finding themselves in coaching roles like yourself, I think that you're able to really become personable with your players. And I look forward to seeing what you do with this Sydney roster and how far you can go, just because of, I guess those characteristics that you've kind of learnt about along the way, and some of these little tips and tricks that you've found from coaches like Steve, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, every facet of life, you can always learn, you can always get better in whatever you're doing. I'm a firm believer in you almost stealing stuff from different people, different coaches, different whatever you're doing. Take mental notes of things that you like and things that you don't like about. Even if it's your boss at work or your manager or whatever it is, there's always things that you can take away from them that are good. And then the bad that they have, the qualities you don't like, you put and say, I don't like that. So I got to make sure that when I'm in that position one day, I don't do that. And I think having a playing career kind of on the trajectory that mine was, which was roller coaster-ish at times.
Yep.
I think it's let me experience all ends of the spectrum: role player, bench player, starter, kind of star player. Like I've experienced every single one of them, so I kind of know what that is for players.
Exactly, 100%, 100%. Before we go, Bogues, I do want to touch on one more guy that I've been keeping an eye on, especially last season in the NBL, Tanner Armstrong, who's now just signed a two-way with Golden State. Do you think and believe that this is the perfect environment for him? I mean, as a crafty guy, chippy guy, is full of talent, definitely. Do you think Golden State is the right environment for Tanner to be in?
Look, it's an interesting one for point guards, for pure points. They don't, because they play a hybrid style with Steph in the point at times. It is interesting that they haven't really ever had a high-end point guard. So it will be interesting to see how that goes, but he's been playing really well from all reports and people I talked to in Golden State. They love him down there. Does the right thing, plays hard, but I think it's just a good environment to see how Steph does it, what guys do on the day-to-day. But the thing in the NBA is if he plays well there and can't fit in the Golden State role, someone else pick him up. So 100%. I think he's in the right spot, and I think he's got so much potential and so much growth to get to. It's a matter of if he gets to it. But I like where he's at. I like his mentality. He's aggressive. He's trying to go after you. He's not afraid. And teammates generally that play with him really like him.
Absolutely. No, looking forward to seeing what Tanner has for us in store. Always a pleasure, Bogues. Looking forward to seeing what Golden State and the Clippers seeing what they do at the end of the season. Because I'm not going against you, Bogues. I think they're contenders as well. All right. So thank you. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And we'll chat soon, my friend.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.